Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And simply this amendment says, as generally read, none of the funds made available by this act may be used to transfer weapons to the Palestinian Authority. And I'd like to express why I brought this amendment. And I take you back, Mr. Chairman, to April 23, 2014, when Fatah and Hamas unified within the Palestinian Authority and the Palestinian organization. That unification brought about a terrorist designated organization, a foreign terrorist organization, joined together with Fatah. And on June 6th, so this is April 23rd, on June 6th of 2014, State Department spokeswoman Jen Psaki said, quote, "We will work with and fund the new Palestinian Authority government," close quote. So what that means is they've decided for the first time that our taxpayers' borrowed money are going to be committed to a terrorist organization. And 1997 was when Hamas was designated a foreign terrorist organization. And since 1997, Hamas has launched tens of thousands of rockets from the Gaza Strip into Israel. Khalid Mashal of Hamas said the reconciliation of the two organizations, Fatah and Hamas, will consolidate their resistance. Not bring about peace, but consolidate the resistance. We can't afford and cannot fund a power-sharing Palestinian government that includes Hamas because they're a foreign trade organization. And I would bring to the attention of the floor, Mr. Chairman, that the Palestinian Anti-Terrorist Act of 2006, which bans funding to a government that includes Hamas until they meet three different conditions. One is that they recognize Israel. Two is that they renounce violence, and three is that they accept previous Israeli-Palestinian agreements. They've done none of those three things, and therefore can't qualify for this funding. So we cannot fund a power-sharing Palestinian government that includes Hamas because they're foreign trade organizations, because they do not recognize the Jewish state, they do not recognize their right to exist. But prior to June 2nd of 2014, the U.S. has never recognized a government that includes Hamas. And so that's why I bring this amendment. And I would point out that the administration has been isolating Israel in a number of ways. Secretary Kerry, in April of this year, compared Israel to an apartheid state. I've been there a number of times, and I've not seen that. I don't recognize that, and I don't think it's true. And I think Israel would reject that, and I would encourage them to do so. But in May, then, May of 2011, President Obama said that Israel should return to its 1967 borders. That would be indefensible for Israel to do that. So we need to stick with the existing statute, the 2006 Palestinian Anti-Terrorism Act, and this amendment cuts off funding to the military supply, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman from Iowa reserves the balance of his time. Does anyone rise in opposition to seek to claim time in opposition to the amendment? Gentleman from Iowa is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That I urge adoption of my amendment and I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back the balance of his time. The question is on the amendment offered by the gentleman from Iowa. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The amendment is agreed to.